Hello and welcome to Podcast of the Parkys Wrestling Special Part 2. Today we're going to talk about our favourite wrestlers, or our top 5 favourite wrestlers. Michael wants to kick us off with.
Mick Foley.
Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, Dead Love.
Mick Foley is obviously hardcore legend. Showed me a lot of hardcore stuff back when we didn't have access to like ECW and shit like that.
ECW as well.
Or even New Japan at that time, and the shit that him and Terry Funk were doing.
Backyard Wrestling as well.
Backyard Wrestling, aye. So many phenomenal moments. Fucking even wrestling fans, non-wrestling fans, no fucking Mick Foley getting tossed off the Hell in a Cell, nearly dying, coming back, getting chucked through the Hell in a Cell, coming back later on in the night to fucking referee the match.
I know.
The main event with Stone Cold and Kane, and his match with Triple H, career match at No Way Out, fucking phenomenal. And pretty much the match that made Edge, it brought his career up to very, very high when he faced Mick Foley at WrestleMania, and he did the fire table spot, and Edge speared Mick Foley through the fire table.
Do you know about Edge's debut? He was wrestling, I can't remember the fucking wrestler's name, but he ended up injuring the wrestler, and the wrestler got a count out. That's not how the match was meant to go. But he flipped over the ring and knocked the guy out. The back of the ring, and fucking Tim fucking, he was a referee at the time.
Tim Hebner?
No, it wasn't
Tim
him.
Hebner?
Tim something, I can't remember the fucking referee's name. But anyway, he goes like, dude, the dude's out, you just wait there, I'll count the guy out. And he ended up getting carried away. That was Edge's debut. I don't think he's happy about his debut. Because he speared the guy, and then he kicked him out the ring, and then he did a somersault out the ring, but ended up landing straight on top of his head, knocked the guy out. He get back in the ring. He's like, get up. And he goes like, mate, that guy's out.
That guy's gone.
And he got a ring out, and then he went back in the crowd as he used to go through the crowd. So they had to get back through the crowd. I was like, well, that didn't go as how I wanted it to go. Anyway, I'm 5, isn't I?
Well, it's Jim.
That's my goal. Aye. So I'm at 5. Even though it's no actual
No,
order.
I thought we were counting down 1 to 5. But
we're just saying 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But this is no
I thought
order.
we were doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Alright, so this is 1 then. I thought it was 5 to 1. But is it 1 to 5?
We're doing 1 to 5.
Right, cool.
But it is the actual order.
That was the order. So, well, a wrestler I grew up with, which would be number 1 or number 5.
Number 1.
Anyway, it would be Hulk Hogan. Even though he's a racist piece of shit, he was still awesome at what he did. He's ruined the crowds. And we see the thing is, right, see when it comes to like fucking people like Goldberg and fucking Brock Lesnar, they've really got like fucking the 4 moves. John Cena as well. Any fucking person that comes to that fucking sort of standard would have got like 5 moves.
I have a story about Hulk Hogan. No.
Right, on you go.
He actually can wrestle. You watch any of his shit in Japan.
No, he can.
It was WWE that kept him back and said, don't do any wrestling, just do the big boot. And give it a go.
And that shit carried on for years and years.
Until he left WWE again, went back to New Japan and started actually properly wrestling again.
I know, but do you think about it? Any person that's ever had their fucking major...
Look up Hulk Hogan versus, I think it's a great movie.
Actually, look, if you think about it, right? See, since Hulk Hogan, right, and you had the big boot and the leg drop, right, and that was him fucking sorted, and you had Goldberg, that was a spear and the fucking... I mean, these are most memorable because you realise he's doing it over and over and over and over again. Even John Cena kick fuck out and then he just does his fucking finishing moves, then he's done. And Brock Lesnar, he just does the S5 and he's done.
Well,
see The Rock at a certain point after he was pushed, did the rock bottom, people's elbow, done. Stone Cold Steve Austin did the fucking jump, bam, 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 Stone Cold Stunner, done. And it started carrying on. Hulk Hogan is the first one I can remember that actually just did that. Like just the big boot, leg drop, finish. But then it fucking carried on. And then there was fucking people like The Rock, Stone Cold, Brock Lesnar, John Cena, with his fucking...
Aye. So, when Stone Cold and Rock did that, depending on who they were facing.
But see, when
they were facing
they only did it when they got the push that they were supposed to do. See, before that,
no, Hulk Hogan just did it to everybody.
They just did it. He just did it to start with.
And so did John Cena.
And so did Brock Lesnar.
Well, Brock Lesnar actually wrestled matches.
Some matches. He did the shooting star press and shit like that. He did.
Kurt Angle, you watch his shit with Kurt Angle.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
But anyway,
is it a thing in wrestling that once you're pushed, you just do your fucking finishing moves?
I think it's Vince's fault because he does it like wrestling.
You know, see when you think about it, that happens with a lot of wrestlers. They just do their signature, the finisher, and then it's like when Goldberg came back to the didn't come back when he came to the WWE for the WCW thing. That's all he did. And then Triple H got involved and there was a cage match stuff like that where he tried to do the fucking spear and the fucking jackhammer and it just didn't happen for him. But then later on when he came back again, it was back to fucking spear, jackhammer, I'm going to beat Brock Lesnar. Anyway,
Though that was actually fun to see for once, since they were basically doing 2 moves the entire time.
Exactly,
it was more of a spectator show. It was,
so they kept doing 2 moves and fucking finish out. No, 2 moves.
It was short matches. The one that gone for fucking 40 minutes, right?
But it's a match you would like to see.
It's exciting to see.
But exactly, but a match you'd like to see if they actually wrestled each other.
Though, I don't
like,
think Goldberg could go that much.
Look at The Rock and Stone Cold. They had fucking phenomenal matches, even when they were at the point where it was just fucking rock bottom people. Rock bottom, spine buster people's elbow. That's all he did. And Stone Cold was just fucking finger, fucking bar, Stone Cold Stunner. At that point in their career, when they actually had matches against each other, it was fucking phenomenal. But you don't get that when it comes to fucking. But you don't get that when it came to fucking Goldberg and fucking Brock Lesnar.
Well,
I don't know, it might have been fucking...
I actually felt excitement for that, because I liked that.
I felt excitement for it until I watched it, and I was
I watched it, and I didn't want a 10, 15 minutes, especially at their age right now.
I would have liked it.
If you're talking about their original match at WrestleMania 20, then I would have liked to see them actually go and wrestle a 15, 20 minute match.
I would have liked... I mean... They're old, but they're not old enough
to compete in a 10-minute match. The original WrestleMania 20
I know,
match.
but they could have wrestled a 10, 15 minute match.
10,
15 minutes?
We've seen them try. We've seen Goldberg try. Brock Lesnar can. Goldberg can't.
Right. Anyway,
Goldberg can't.
Back to number 5 for me. Number 1? Number 5?
No.
Is it number 1?
It's number 2 for me.
I'm clarifying.
Why? Yeah, it's number 1.
Number 1 is Hulk Hogan. I don't know why when happened Brock was and Kurt Angle and all sorts of other shit. It's Hulk Hogan. Drink your milk, eat your ribbons. Number 1. Anyway, you, number 2.
Yeah. Well, Undertaker, you just can't leave him off the list. Every wrestling fan knows the Undertaker. I don't know what else to say. There's nothing that can give him justice rather than name off a few matches. Watch him and Mick Foley, Hell in a Cell at King of the Ring. Watch him, Shawn Michaels, both bouts, both WrestleManias in both parts. Watch...
Dude, there's so many fucking...
but these are essential ones. Watch the end of an era, Hell in a Cell, Shawn Michaels referee, him versus Triple H.
Or the Undertaker versus Mick Foley when he first him.
I said that first.
Did you? Sorry,
my bad. I said that first. So
anyway,
just go watch the Undertaker. He's fucking great.
Since you said the Undertaker, I'm going to say Kane. His debut.
Really?
Aye, Kane. What the fuck's wrong with Kane? Remember his debut when he came in and fucking ripped it after? No, Kane was an absolute nobody. He was a nobody.
Yeah, he was a barber at one. No, he was a dentist. He was a dentist.
He was a dentist. And then that's the thing about fucking Vince McMahon. He comes up with such shit like wrestling things.
I can think about Kane is Kane is reliable.
Stone Cold meant to be the Iceman.
But name a 4-star match with Kane.
Well, there was a shitload with fucking Kane and X-Pac. when they were tag team partners.
Well, that's
There was actually Kane versus The Undertaker, which is fucking a phenomenal match as well.
Actually, they were actually pretty bad matches.
Kane versus Kane? That was Undertaker versus Undertaker.
It was exciting to see at the time, but when you actually watched the match, it's like, this should have been a lot better than it was.
Disagree with my fucking pick. Kane was fucking brilliant, right? He started off as the dentist, right? And he came in and ripped the fucking cage. He slipped the cage fucking clean up. He tombstoned the Undertaker. And then the whole, any fucking Brothers of Destruction match. The Brothers of Destruction were fucking amazing. And there was fucking Kane and X-Pac. Any of the matches were awesome as well. Kane versus fucking Mick Foley. Or Mankind. That was an awesome match.
Everybody else carried the match. Kane was reliable. Kane was reliable. He was a reliable wrestler.
No, Kane was awesome. Kane was awesome. I mean, he wasn't Undertaker, but he was like, he was good enough.
I will have to. I like Kane, right?
No, you don't.
He's reliable.
No, you don't. You don't like Kane. I've decided you don't like Kane.
I don't think he has like proper singles.
Did he not face Shane McMahon as well? Am I misremembering?
Okay, I'll give it.
Right, okay.
I'll give it.
So
that storyline was pretty good, even though it was stupid. But
the match was awesome.
I'll give it. It's just because I'm so jaded with Kane's later career.
No, I don't really
fucking annoys me.
Proper fucking Kane.
No, it's just in my head because all the times I've seen him.
Kane had a fuckload of great matches. An absolute fuckload of them. Yeah. I mean, he didn't have the career that Undertaker had.
I'm putting Undertaker completely aside. I'm not even thinking about him.
Aye, but he didn't have the career that Undertaker did.
He had tag matches.
You had Kane and Undertaker.
I'm going to backtrack a bit here. I'm going to backtrack.
Right.
Kane is a great tag team wrestler. He had some amazing tag team matches.
He had some fucking brilliant fucking hardcore matches as well. Was he no fucking writing about the 24-hour title thing?
But I think with Kane, his corporate Kane completely ruined the image of Kane for me.
But I mean, you think of fucking like people like The Godfather did right to censor fucking ruin The Godfather. It did, but I mean overall in his whole career.
See, when
Stevie Richards as
when you first mention it, and I'm not thinking about it. When you first mention this Kane, and then it comes into my head this corporate Kane. It's like,
Kane.
But that's the first thing that pops into my head.
Don't do that.
No, but when I'm thinking about it, I can actually see more shit and all that. He's actually done. It's like,
Kane's awesome.
Right.
Number 3.
I'm gonna go with AJ Styles. AJ Styles is fucking, well, pardon the pun, phenomenal. I've been watching him since Ring of Honor. Seen all his TNA years.
I first came into him in TNA.
No, but Ring of Honor was the same as me because he used to be on the wrestling channel.
Yeah, but I don't remember at that point.
Yeah, but it was reruns that they were playing. Exactly. Because it was in TNA at the time. But what they were playing was reruns of Ring of Honor. And he used to play that RV all the time. AJ Styles in Ring of Honor, even though he was in TNA at the time.
That's right, aye. Fuck me. That was how many years ago?
A long
12 years ago? 13 years ago? Maybe longer
than that.
What age am I, 33? Oh, fuck, aye.
A long time ago.
About 15 years ago. Aye, about 15 years ago. Because with the wrestling channel at the time, that's what
I'm talking about, the wrestling channel.
The wrestling channel had Ring of Honor and TNA.
And New
Japan. Ring of Honor was fucking like a year late. It was that fucking good.
But TNA was up to date.
That's right, aye.
So we got to see AJ Styles and all that back in the day. We got to see Bryan Danielson. We got to see Desmond Wolfe.
TNA had just started and had the fucking rectangular ring, but he was in Ring of Honor and he was in TNA at the fucking point.
Aye.
That's right. Fuck me, aye. He had some fucking great matches.
I don't think there's a bad AJ Styles match except from one that I can think of. And it was more disappointing than bad. It was him versus Nakamura at fucking WrestleMania, and they ended it on a low blow. What the fuck were they thinking? They were fucking headlining Wrestle Kingdom 2 years later and had one of the greatest matches of all fucking time. How do you fucking ruin this?
I completely agree, man. There's so many matches in WWF or WWE in the last fucking 10 years probably.
The dream matches that they keep fucking
absolute
ruining.
Dream matches that have absolutely just fucked it straight off the bat. They just fucked it. It's like, what the fuck? I actually want to see a match with these people and
it's DQ.
Hit with a chair, DQ, it's ring out. It's like, the fuck?
Fucking disqualification, the hell in the cell. It's like, what are these people doing?
Aye.
Though, yeah, one AJ Styles bad match, and it was a good match up until the end of the go. So,
I remember that, aye.
My favourite match of all time, and I put this up, my favourite match of all time is the Turning Point triple threat match. Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, and AJ Styles. Triple threat, fucking phenomenal.
Now there's wrestlers we've got to miss out here, right? So one of the wrestlers we've got to miss out here is Kevin Owens, right? Because he's not a newcomer, but he's kind of a newcomer. And the only fucking good wrestling matches I've seen with Kevin, the only good wrestling matches I've seen with John Cena is with Kevin Owens.
That's true. John Cena stepped up his game a bit in his last couple of runs. His last run when he's versing all the NXT people and had that US Open title match where John Cena was actually doing shit.
There's a few wrestlers that people are going to expect to see on this list that are not going to be on this list.
Well, John Cena isn't on this list.
John Cena's not. Kevin Owens is not on this because he's kind of a newcomer, and John Cena because.
I don't know about you, but Daniel Bryan is not on this list.
Aye, Daniel Bryan's not on this
list. I love him. CM Punk isn't in the list either. I love him.
Aye, exactly. So there's a few wrestlers that you expect to see go, oh, he's a great wrestler, and I agree, they are great wrestlers or great entertainers or, other things. But in the business of wrestling, this is a top 5 of wrestlers that have done so much that they make this list, and they aren't even the top 5. These are because there's like 20. There's 20 other wrestlers that could take this spot in the top 5.
There is one in my top 5 that I'm just ranking on here by complete skill in the wrestling ring. There is one. That
so
you're free. You're on your fuck.
What did I say? Hulk Hogan,
and Kane.
Okay, so I'm in 3. Right, okay, I'm in 3. I can't say my 3 because it's Chris Benoit because of what he did, and there's too much controversy within what he had done. In the wrestling ring, he was absolutely fucking phenomenal. But in his personal life, whatever you agree with, like maybe it was a conspiracy, maybe he fucked his brain, or maybe he was just an animal. Whatever you might think of Chris Benoit, in the wrestling business, he was the hardest worker. He had some fucking phenomenal matches. Him and Dean Malenko and Eddie Guerrero.
By the way, can you put in the same way have the way over the door?
Okay. No, because it takes away. Like, I'm being dramatic, like fucking, you know what he's saying. He walks in, fucking bars late by the door, and this is where it's going in. So there's a few wrestlers. I mean, I would like to include again Ric Flair in this as well, but I can't include Ric Flair because of what happened in that flight. Which he still denies, but there's so many people that says that it happened. There's people in the flight that say they might have stepped forward. The actual wrestlers
that seen it happen, but it didn't happen exactly like that.
I know, but there's a lot of wrestlers that goes like, oh, he did it every fucking flight. He did the fucking.
Aye, he did do that in the entire.
Aye, so I mean,
that's a fact that he did that.
Exactly.
The whole cornering the person in the fucking.
So I mean, if you think about the amount he had to drink that day, there is a very high possibility that he probably had done that. Because they were all fucking wrecked.
RVD was asked about it. He said he was completely taken out of context. He was saying something, and then they just edited all the footage to make him look as if he was throwing Ric Flair under the bus.
I mean, Ric Flair would be there, but I mean, again, it's one of these things. Is he that way? Is he not that way? And I can completely,
That's the thing.
I can completely see Ric Flair
He
doing that.
completely did it as
I
a
know.
joke, but he didn't do the whole calling the woman and the fucking.
I know. He probably did do it as a joke, but he still did it. I mean, he still did it.
He does the helicopter. Apparently, he did it in every flight and all that.
Exactly.
I'm not excusing it. I'm not excusing it, but I don't think it went down on as far as they were taking it, especially when they were taking the wrestlers out of context on the actual documentary.
Because that kind of ruins it, doesn't it? It kind of ruins it. Just take it as it is. Don't put your own spin on it. Just take it as it is. Now, I have no fucking doubt in my mind that Ric Flair most likely did that.
He did do that.
Most likely did that.
Except for that in part that he probably didn't.
So I mean, this is why fucking Ric Flair and Chris Benoit don't make my list because of stuff like that, like PC. I mean, I'm not a PC guy, but I mean, there's just things. Anyway,
you're not a PC guy, you're a PlayStation guy.
I'm a PlayStation fanatic. Anyway, no, I hate fucking PlayStation and Xbox. I don't hate PlayStation. I like PlayStation, but still Xbox. Anyway, so where was that number?
3.
Who was my number 3? Did I say?
Pick him yet? You were going to pick Chris Benoit?
No, I was going to pick Chris Benoit. I was going to
pick Ric Flair, but you decided no.
I can't. Well, I can, but I'm not going to. So my number 3 pick is probably it's a toss up between Bret the Hitman Hart and Billy Kidman. Now I know they are so far apart, it's unbelievable. But I'm gonna go for Billy Kidman because see the amount of amazing, like all this fucking
cruiserweight shit
that he used to do, it was fucking phenomenal. Him and La Parka. Now La Parka's right up there with Billy Kidman.
No.
And I didn't know where to pick La Parka or Billy Kidman, but I'm picking Billy Kidman because see the first time I seen Billy Kidman, it was my introduction to cruiserweight wrestling. Basically, I mean, La Parka and stuff like that was there as well, but when I seen Billy Kidman, I was like, the shit he was doing was so fucking innovative and fucking amazing. This is before fucking Jeff and Matt Hardy. I'd seen them. This was just like another fucking level.
I loved when he used to tag with Rey Mysterio.
And Rey Mysterio's
matches were fucking.
Rey Mysterio's another one.
By the way, Rey Mysterio is not on the list.
No,
even though I put him there, but
Rey Mysterio's not on the list either. But he's.
By the way, people are gonna fucking kill me when I put this person on the list, but I didn't put Rey Mysterio on the list. So for me,
the Rey Mysterio is not on the list because Billy Kidman was the first wrestler I seen to do this innovative shit. Like he was the first person I seen to do this. I seen fucking like Rey Mysterio and shit like do it and La Parka and stuff like that, but the first match I'd seen the cruiserweight in WCW, Billy Kidman just stood out so much.
Just know that it kills me not to put Rey Mysterio on my list. And just put it there, Stone Cold Disney on my list either, or The Rock.
Stone Cold is on my list.
You can get that. You didn't have to mention that.
I mean, that is on my list.
I'm just putting it there because Stone Cold, The Rock is on my list, and neither is Triple H or Shawn Michaels. Even though I put them there, I just have a lot more attachment to matches or wrestlers. And I have one completely dedicated to skill in the ring.
Well, I mean, when you come to skill in the ring, this is why Billy Kidman's up there with fucking Rey Mysterio Jr., fucking all sorts of other fucking wrestlers. So I'm going to say Billy Kidman.
I fucking love
Billy Kidman.
Even though he botched all the time in the Shooting Star Press, he botched it nearly all the time.
I know, but he was so innovative in the fucking ring. I mean, he was just fucking. He was the first introduction I had to proper cruiserweight wrestling. He was.
Mind that time when he challenged Hulk Hogan for the world title?
No, was that in WCW?
Because they were doing a storyline where they were running down all the cruiserweights, I think it's Kidman's idea. It's like, what if I go up and go this? Oh, you look down on me like this, and then he challenged for the world title.
Is this kind of similar when fucking Rey Mysterio challenged the Big Show?
It was more similar to the option C with Austin Aries and TNA.
Oh, right, aye.
So he did that, but the thing was, Billy Kidman kind of meant it, and he kept nagging at management. So they took the piss at him as they always do, and chose Hulk Hogan's heavyweight over him and just made him look like a joke.
Samoa Joe's not lost either, even though he probably should be, but Samoa Joe's not lost either. Right, so you're number 2, Ewan? 2, you're 2.
Damn it! I thought I had 3 more.
No, you get 2 more. You get 2 now, and you get 1 more after this one.
Well, bye wrestler, completely based on skill. You're gone. Yeah,
well, wait a minute.
You're gone for the list now.
We had 5 wrestlers, right? So your wrestlers were
Mick Foley, Undertaker, AJ Styles.
Aye, so we're 2 left.
He'll have hyped up and all that. He's not making the list at all.
Right, well, we'll do a special mention at number 6 then.
Okay. Well, actually, just mention him there. I was going to put Will Ospreay in the list because his matches are fucking phenomenal.
Right, so
I've never seen.
We'll just say that's a special number 6, right? So go back to your top 5. Even though it's not any order, and there's people going to be missing out in our top 5s, definitely. I'm sitting looking at Dean Malenko and fucking Lita right now. Do you know what? I actually think Lita is actually going to make my list. But I don't think she is because there's so many other wrestlers. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. Oh, Raven. What about me? I fucking forgot about Raven.
What about me? What about
Raven? Oh my god, how the fuck did I forget about Raven? Anyway, sorry. Yeah, your number 2.
Yeah. Fucking. I went back. On my number 2.
Ospreay wasn't making the list because
I had 2. No, well, I'll just mention this one till fucking my brain works again. Kurt Angle.
No.
Kurt Angle, fucking phenomenal wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking 5 stars matches to me all the time. When you see, he puts everything into it. And he's fucking comedic genius. When you look back at all his old stuff,
I mean,
like the milk truck and the Jimmy Crack call.
I don't really agree with Kurt Angle. There was a reason why the chant "You suck" existed, because he sucked. Originally, he sucked.
But this is my bit.
But then he took the whole "You suck" chant to go, oh, it's because he loved me. No, it's because at one point you just sucked.
Aye. But to see him build himself up to fucking
a
shite wrestler, all the way to fucking one of the greatest wrestlers in the world.
I don't even think he is.
He is. He's fucking phenomenal. Put on amazing matches with They Who Shall Not Be Named. Put on great matches with Brock Lesnar. Put on great matches with The Rock. Put on great matches with Stone Cold. Put on great matches with Chris Jericho. Put on amazing matches with Styles. Put on amazing matches with fucking the fucking list is endless. But in his retirement, fucking.
Do you remember what he used to be like though?
I remember what he used to like, and that's what makes him so better. That he built his. This is the same way Trish Stratus, even though Trish Stratus not got a big list, she couldn't wrestle as shit. She couldn't wrestle at all. It became one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time.
And Trish Stratus did? Bollocks, Trish Stratus couldn't fucking wrestle.
Aye, she couldn't wrestle at all, but became fucking one of the most
women wrestlers that could fucking wrestle, and I'm actually not going to mention
that's
because one was on my list.
Where Kurt Angle started is where Trish Stratus pretty much started, but not. It's like the main wrestling skill that.
Well, he did have wrestling skill because he was a.
Yeah, but no.
He was an
Olympic caliber.
Summer, but so.
But knowing that caliber,
there was an interview fucking a while ago. Well, it wasn't. It was a TMZ kind of interview sort of thing where they asked what's his face, fucking Kurt Angle, do you think that any wrestler these days could compete in actual wrestling? And he goes like, no. And he goes like, why don't you think that any wrestler these days can compete? I mean, most wrestlers from the 90s onwards actually learned normal wrestling. Surely they did actually learn how to wrestle. They must have at some point learned how to wrestle, right?
Chad Gable, because does.
So, I mean, there must be a fair few that learned actually how to wrestle before they went into professional wrestling. So anyway, he was asked, he goes, do you think any wrestler, that's a couple of years ago, he was like, any wrestler of the day could compete in actual wrestling? He goes like, nah. And he goes like, why don't you think any wrestler today could compete in actual wrestling? And he goes like, oh, because one is entertainment, the other one's actual wrestling.
Oh,
I'm
fucking,
pretty sure there's a bunch of wrestlers there that can actually compete
Joe
in wrestling.
Henry, local hero. He was fucking in the Commonwealth Games and actually doing wrestling.
Aye. So it was a TM. It was a TM. You can Google it or whatever. It was a TMZ interview.
That was bullshit.
Where they asked Kurt Angle if MD can actually compete in normal wrestling, and he goes like, no. MD in WWE or whatever wrestling federation can compete in normal wrestling.
Depending on how many years ago you're talking about.
It was like 4 or 5 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. It was like 4 or 5 years ago. He goes like, no, I don't think they can. And he goes, how no? He goes like, because one's sports entertainment, the other one's actual wrestling.
Was he actually talking about just WWE in general or wrestling? I
think he was just talking about wrestling in general. He goes like, I don't think they can because one's sports entertainment, the other one's actual wrestling.
But anyway, Kurt Angle.
Is he in your list?
Aye.
Oh,
definitely
okay.
is. I fucking love Kurt Angle. He has the sports entertainment down, and he has the wrestling down. He was built up for probably one of the worst wrestlers of all time. He used to use the crossface chicken.
The only time that I got into fucking Kurt Angle is when he was with fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon.
And
he was a pure leech.
It was brilliant.
It was funny.
That was the.
But that was his whole character. It was funny, but then when he got in the ring, he was shit.
He was great in the ring at that time. He was.
I don't think so.
You back up any match from that era, the Invasion era.
Between 2000 and 2003?
No, the Invasion era, that's what you're talking about, where he was with fucking...
That's what it was. Right, so my two is Lita. But Lita, and they look great. At the point of fucking Lita, the only good women match that you got was between Ivory, Lita and China.
Pretty much, aye. That's all you got.
Aye. Fucking China, I broke my neck. Next minute she's fucking Japan wrestling. It's like, cool. So that's what you did. So Lita gets that because one, she was a cruiserweight wrestler and she was awesome. Two, she could compete with any guy in the cruiserweight roster at that point.
And she was pretty much better than SAD as well, but it was she was originally paired with.
Here's the thing is, see Lita versus SCDOS or Lita versus Tajiri or fucking Lita versus fucking Crash Holly, they had them decent matches.
Yeah.
Women versus men, because I think that'd be an equal match. I think they both did, because I don't think any of the men could have overpowered her. I mean, Lita versus Big Show would be a one-sided match, but see Lita versus SCDOS.
MD versus the Big Shows.
I mean, they had. I'm pretty sure they had Lita versus Eddie Guerrero at one point.
They had Lita versus Dean Malenko.
Dean Malenko, aye. I mean, again, they're kind of on the same fucking category, so I wouldn't actually put it past her to win these matches.
Versus Eddie.
But Lita, because I think Lita's one of the only wrestlers, other than China, but I'm not putting her on my list because of other reasons. Lita's the only female wrestler, Ivory as well. Ivory was more.
But Ivory got toned down on the fucking WWE than what she did back in the.
Ivory and lasses like Awesome Kong.
Jacqueline as well.
And Jacqueline were and Awesome Kong.
WWE toned them down and told them not to wrestle.
No, just that. They were more like heavyweight ranking, so if they were to compete with heavyweight wrestlers, they get destroyed. Whereas Lita was more in the cruiserweight, like heavyweight division, and if she's competing in the light cruiserweight division, I think she could have probably won like more matches than she lost because of her technical ability and what she had done in the ring. Whereas when it comes to Ivory, even China, Awesome Kong, fucking, I mean, there is other wrestlers out there that could have competed, like fucking what's her name, Mickey James and stuff like that. They could have probably.
Though Mickey James came a bit after.
I know after that's, but this is one of the wrestlers who could probably compete in that kind of category. I think Lita could have probably competed in the light heavyweight cruiserweight division with men. I think she could.
Definitely.
I don't think China could have because she was a heavyweight wrestler.
And she was very limited in what she could do.
Exactly, she had the mad flippy thing, and I mean, Lita on the other hand could actually compete with a lot of light heavyweight and cruiserweight
people
men,
at the time.
men at that time. I honestly think she could have.
But she has one of the best theme songs of all time. But I fucking love that song.
So, Lita will get my number 2 spot. Even though it's not any elder, but Lita would get my number 2.
Number 1, Jeff Hardy.
Not my Hardy?
Nah.
Nah, because I prefer Jeff Hardy as well.
No, Matt Hardy's proven himself to be very creative over the years.
And Jeff Hardy didn't know.
No, I've seen
Did Jeff Hardy know have like a drug overdose and couldn't compete at one point? And he came into the ring and battled, and he almost got sacked. Like he did get sacked, kinda, but they realised he was as big as Ross, so they brought him back.
Was it because he was the biggest draw they brought him back? They brought him back because he was Jeff Hardy.
But they didn't fuck him again after that.
And no in TNA.
I'm sure he did, and then
he fucked up in WWE a couple years later.
Was it?
I'm
combining all this. I'm combining all together.
He had the biggest fuck up that any wrestler could ever do, and you put this in the worst matches of wrestling history.
I know.
Him versus Sting. He was coked out his nut. He comes into the ring. It's like, oh, fucking Sting. And then Sting walks off.
Fucked his dude for ages, but I'm pretty sure he did it again later on, where he completely fucked up on drugs.
It wasn't that. It was something else he did, and he wasn't even wrestling at the time. He was after an injury.
Do you know, when Stone Cold's born, where he goes like, Austin 316 said, I'll just kick your ass. Austin 316 I'll just kick your ass. Oh hell yeah. Anyway, see in that fucking WrestleMania, was it, no WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, I think it was 96, 98, it was 1 or 2, 98, I think, 98, 96, 96. Do you know that the fucking stewards that was guarding the...
it was Martin, it was King of the Ring 96.
96, aye.
Came out,
aye. Because that was
Matt Jeff Hardy.
Matt and Jeff Hardy. That was
purple.
Aye, that was basically the birth of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Aye.
It goes like, you are to what was it? He said, you like to quote your. It was to Jake Snake. It goes like, you like to quote your Bible, and you have to quote John 3:16. Well, Austin 3:16 says, I just whooped your ass. It was Jake the Snake.
It was Dr. Death.
Was it Dr. Death? I thought it was Jake the Snake.
I'm sure it was Dr. Death.
No, I'm sure it was Jake the Snake.
He had the entire Bible gimmick. It was because it was facing him in the King of the Ring that year, and it was supposed to be Triple H. It was facing him, but that didn't happen.
He thinks it was Dr. Death. I think it was Jake the Snake. So we're going to watch it back on YouTube later on, and then we'll discuss whether. But then we'll know. You can just watch it for yourself.
You probably know. You
probably know anyway. But you can look it up anyway.
I was like.
But it was. I think it was Jake the Snake Roberts who cut a promo.
Mark Merrill.
It wasn't Mark Merrill.
It was Mark Merrill.
Jake Snake.
It was Mark Merrill.
Anyway, that King of the Ring, Matt and Jeff Hardy were bouncers at the gate. See when Jake the Snake Roberts was walking through, you seen Matt and Jeff Hardy easily. I mean, I'm fucking destroying my whole fucking thing about number 1 because I've fucking pretty much discussed everything about my number 1 at this point.
So your number 1's Stone Cold?
It is indeed, aye.
I didn't put him in there for...
No,
basically because I knew you were going to mention
I've got Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold in my top 5.
You know why I didn't put Hulk Hogan there?
But I don't even know what your number 1 is.
Either. Jeff Hardy. But I already said that.
No, it was your number 2.
No, my number 2 was Kurt Angle.
Is that your number 3?
Nope.
Who have you mentioned?
Mick Foley.
Right.
Undertaker.
Right.
AJ Styles.
Right.
Kurt Angle. Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy? Huh. Nice. Well, I've not got my number 1 actually. And I wonder who it might be.
That you just didn't mention.
Well, didn't mention like a million times.
I know you were going to mention him anyway, but...
Anyway, Stone Cold Steve Austin is definitely my number 1 because Stone Cold Steve Austin was the birth of the Attitude Era. He was the birth of the Attitude Era. So, at that point, WWF...
No, we shouldn't say top because these are basically just 5 great wrestlers.
Aye, 5. I mean,
it's not a list. It's just
even,
5 great wrestlers.
Even at this, doesn't matter what it would be. Stone Cold will still be at the top. But Stone Cold.
Yeah, but this is no order right now.
It's not any order. I mean, Stone Cold, because he was the buff of the Attitude Era. He was the buff it. He was what meant to be called fucking. It was meant to be called fucking frosty fucking snowflakes or fucking freezy creams or some fucking stupid bollocks like that. Some absolute pish name. Because he started stunning Steve Austin in WCW, and he came into WWF and he goes
ECW.
ECW. WCW, and then they were quite.
I think he was still stunning Steve in ECW.
He was, and then when he came to WWF, he was going to be called fucking, I don't know, fucking Frosty Snowflake or some fucking ridiculous names. They had a list of names of him, and it was all fucking stupid the fuck names. And he goes like, I'm going to come up with names, and then he seen a serial killer on some like documentary and shit like that, and he goes like, that's good, I'm going to be Stone Cold. And then, see that promo there? That was all improvised because he didn't know.
He wasn't supposed to be there. Triple H was supposed to be there.
No, not even that. He didn't know that Jake the Snake had cut a promo before he arrived. He had no idea that Jake the Snake had cut a promo before he went live.
Boss, he didn't know.
So before, well, he did when he got there. And he told that fucking Jake the Snake had already cut a promo, and he was sitting fucking, and all he was told was that Jake the Snake was quoting passages for the Bible. So he went out and kicked fucking Jake the Snake's ass, and Stone Cold goes like that, you sit and thump your Bible, Austin 316 that, and that was the birth of the Attitude Era. After that, 96? 98? 98. 96, 98.
96, that was 96.
96.
That was
after 96. The whole birth of the Attitude Era began with that promo. The whole birth of Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Rattlesnake, began with that fucking with that. And this is why he's number 1 on this list, or number 5 on this list, whatever way we're going to fucking do, because I can't remember. Anyway, he's number 1 on this list because the Attitude was my favourite time in wrestling. And I remember the fucking time we watching Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan and fucking Bret Hart and fucking all that shit, the Barbers and whatever else. See, as soon as Stone Cold Steve Austin cut that promo and that fucking WWF took a whole different fucking turn from that day on, and this is why he's number 1.
I was going to say, your top 3 favourite Stone Cold matches.
Well, I'll go through the first favourite to the last favourite.
But just 3 favourites. 3 favourites.
Right. Yeah. So one would be Stone Cold versus The Rock in WrestleMania 17, I think it was.
Yep.
Where the
that's
guys,
not mine.
Just got the fucking WrestleMania 13 with Stone Cold versus Bret Hart.
Yep.
And Stone Cold versus. See, Stone Cold had a short career. People think he had a pure long career, but he didn't.
He
had a very short career.
6-7 years.
Aye, and he ended up fucking his knee and shit. Stone Cold versus.
Is it gonna be the same as mine? Is it gonna be different for mine?
I've got like fucking 20 matches in my head right now, and I want to pick very carefully. But what's yours?
Right. Stone Cold Rock.
Right.
Right.
Aye.
Stone Cold Bret Hart.
Right. Aye.
Stone Cold Triple H 3 Stages of Hell.
I completely forgot about that match.
Though could be easily replaced with Shawn Michaels and Mike Tyson at WrestleMania 16.
I don't think I could replace. I think you're spot on with that one.
Yeah. But 3 Stages of Hell, Triple H, Stone Cold.
That was awesome. Mine's is probably going to be Stone Cold versus Vince McMahon.
Just that actually, towards the storyline of that, it's a little better.
That was awesome.
That's a good match. But 3 Stages of Hell, man, that's a fucking great one. But
I mean, there's a lot of wrestlers there that could have made the list that didn't make the list.
Those hundreds of wrestlers that could have made the list. You were looking at Rock, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, fucking La Parka, Rey Mysterio Jr., Chris Jericho, the who shall not be named,
Aye.
Eddie Guerrero, Pentagon Jr., Ray Phoenix, modern wrestlers that are fucking phenomenal. And well, we're actually going because this was what I was building up to, but then I realised I ran out of numbers.
No, aye, exactly. So you got a special 6. You got a special 6.
Which was, I was going to say Will Ospreay. I know people hate Will Ospreay right now, but fucking match-wise, he's fucking phenomenal. I've never seen a bad Will Ospreay match. What he can do in the ring is just out of this world. And it's an actual shame because WWE are completely wasting Ricochet, because a lot of Will Ospreay's best matches were against Ricochet, and Ricochet's been completely wasted.
Right, so I'll get a special 6 as well, which will never make my top 5 in a million fucking years. But Grado. And I'll tell you for why.
Because Grado was awesome.
Not just that, right? I'll tell you for why Grado. Right, I'll tell you for why Grado. This boy for Glasgow, right?
Stevenson.
Ayrshire.
Stevenson.
Aye, Stevenson, Ayrshire, sorry, fucking Liz, what the fuck am I talking about? It's for Ayrshire.
Stevenson.
Aye, Stevenson, the tap end of Stevenson. One of his trademarks is the rolling slice.
Rolling slice, aye.
Right, so this boy for Stevenson, right? Here, basically, right? This boy, he made it all the way to the WWE. And there's boys like fucking Jack Jester that are still kicking about in fucking ICW, and he made it all the way, and he's got a career in the BBC doing comedy and shit like that.
Yeah, he's had that show that Craig watches.
Scotch Squad?
No, it's another one. It's a comedy drama about a family.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Craig watches it. It's like, that's Grado. It's like, Grado, because he doesn't watch wrestling.
No, Grado is
like, Grado
is my special 6, even though it's in my top 5, it's because
aye.
He came for absolute.
What he is.
I mean, fucking Jack Jester was fucking raging at the fact that he's not just in NXT, but in actual.
But Jack Jester's a prick. He's pure jealous of Drew McIntyre as well.
Aye.
He always just because he's no. By the way, Jack Jester is fucking great. He's fucking phenomenal. He fucking stayed with ICW all this time. He's one of the best guys there. He has everything that it takes. I don't think people get his character to promote him.
Here's the thing is, I don't know why Jack Jester isn't in the same fucking level as Drew McIntyre or even fucking Grado, because Jack Jester, without a doubt, is a much better wrestler than Grado.
Much better wrestler. And Drew much better than anything than this.
See in ICW, see Drew McIntyre versus Jack Jester matches. Jack Jester
draws, man.
And Jack Jester carried them. Yeah. Like see in the fucking hardcore matches, Jack Jester took all the bumps, and Drew McIntyre took like maybe 1 or 2, but he took most of the bumps. So I can understand why he's pissed off. How
match to look up: Jack Jester versus Mickey Whiplash. Fucking phenomenal matches for the ICW title.
So I can understand why Jack Jester's a wee bit annoyed with Drew McIntyre, how he made it like to the big thing.
I don't think he's annoyed with him anymore. I think
that guy, fucking Drew McIntyre or Drew Galloway, whatever you want to call him, he won the world title, and Jack Jester carried him in a lot of matches, especially when it came to hardcore matches. So I can understand his piss offness, if that's a word.
This was before they won world title. This was way back when he first came into the fourth time he came back into or some shit like that, and he showed up for ICW, whipped the hood off, and he was pissed off by him because he was getting on spotlight and shit like that. And this was off camera. Sure, they were doing a storyline and all that. But the off camera what he's talking about is like, I can't believe what you just did. Fucking, you can see him getting absolutely agitated. on, you can see this on the Insane Fight Club on, god damn it, that company that's a pain in the arse that I totally pay for.
When it comes to fucking Grado, he was the main guy for Tapping and Stevenson.
Yeah,
and then he went to NXT and he started fucking arguing.
No, he went to TNA first, mind?
TNA, aye.
And then he got a main spot in TNA.
Aye, and then he started arguing with Triple H because he was late.
That was Al Snow.
Aye, Al Snow, aye. And he was late because he wanted like a fucking fish supper or some shit like that. He was like, oh, I'm sorry I'm late, mate.
That was all set up in British, but
it's amazing how somebody like fucking Grado, his trademark is a fucking a rolling slice. He comes out to fucking Madonna.
When you call my name, it's like a little prayer.
Aye.
That's an amazing intro theme.
How he got to that, to being in the WWE, he went for and nobody straight to that, and especially at the BBC show, so that's
Mind him getting hypnotised. It's not the time of Big Daddy. It's not the time of giant haystacks. You're great. Oh, you don't have to eat. And then it comes up in the ending credits. Grado straight after this went to the kebab shop.
Aye. So Grado's a special mention at number 6.
Grado's awesome.
Anyway, this is for the final part of wrestling special of Podcast the Parkys. Ciao.